Hey, what's up guys? Car Audio Q&A, and today's question is off of YouTube from JLo9, and his question is, what tools would you recommend car audio related for either the DIY or professional that they should have in their toolbox? Well, I'm sure all of you know you gotta have wrenches and sockets and strippers and soldering irons and impacts and all the normal regular, essentially mechanics tools to take apart your vehicle. That's pretty standard. So if you're a mechanic or not, or you just work around the house, and most people typically have some tools. But more car audio specific, I would definitely recommend, as we've stated in some of our other videos, a multimeter. So you can check impedance, you can check voltage, you can check shorts to ground. There's even way more. I'm not going to list them all off. These are some of my favorite tools here by SMD. This is the CC1 crossover calibrator. That way I can accurately set crossover points when tuning a system. The distortion detector, which is the DD1, which allows me to appropriately set gains, which is a big thing everybody needs to know and set properly, so that way they can get the best sound quality and the most output out of their system without blowing stuff up. And then of course the IMSG impedance meter signal generator. And this is a pretty cool tool. This is kind of an expensive piece here, but this allows you to determine and figure out the TS parameters of your actual driver. So a mid-bass driver, a woofer, etc. It can help set crossover points as well too. You can figure out the sealed volume of a box using this. Another thing that you could use it for is actually finding rattles. It basically is it will send signal from 8 hertz to 21,000 hertz, and you can actually hook it right up to your RCA input of your amplifier, and you can run a sweep, and every panel in your car naturally is going to either rattle or have a buzz, or you're going to hear some resonance at certain frequencies. So you can actually sit there and play with a particular frequency and listen for buzzes and rattles and doors and deck lids and dashes, and that way you can actually get all your rattles out, because obviously your trunk and your license plate and stuff like that's pretty easy. Obviously if you're going for SPL and you're just looking for crazy loud, good luck, you're not going to get rid of all of them anyway, unless it's a, you know, a bulletproof vehicle. Another thing would be actually figuring out the tuning frequency of a ported enclosure. I've done that with this as well, which is pretty neat. So I can take any box, put a woofer in it, following the obviously appropriate instructions, I actually could figure out what that port is tuned to in that box just by this. So it's really accurate, really cool. But these are tools that you really have to have in order, in my opinion, in order to do the job right. I mean, most guys try to set everything by ear. They try to set the gains, you know, by ear, and that's really difficult to do. I mean, there's other, you know, rudimentary methods out there that I've seen a lot of people do with a multimeter and stuff like that. But nowadays, you've got guys like SMD, DMOR Engineering that actually make tools for installers. So this is essentially, like your DD1 is basically, essentially an oscilloscope. So it doesn't have a screen where you actually get to see the sine wave. When it starts to distort, you'd actually see the wave actually start to square. But what it does instead is it actually has a light that indicates distortion. And I actually have compared the DD1 to my Fluke oscilloscope, which I should have grabbed to show you. But these are what you're probably going to typically buy. This is what you're going to have in the toolbox. Fluke oscilloscope would be nice if you could do that too, but you know, they can be, you know, $1,000 to $3,000 depending on the model. But I have tested it against it to see if this lights up and tells me where I have distortion versus where I can visually see the wave square on my oscilloscope, and I have to say it's pretty much dead on. So you got to trust in these devices when setting up your system. And not only that, but for your DIY guys out there or the professional at a shop, you guys can charge extra money to a customer to set their gains properly, to set their crossover points. Obviously, if you're installing it for them and you're charging them, you should be using the appropriate tools included in that price to set everything up properly. But you know, DIY guys, you might spend 150, 200 bucks on one of these, but hey, tell your buddies to come over, have a setting your gains party, and charge everybody 25 bucks. In a short time, you'll get your money back. It's well worth it. Check out these tools. We'll have some links in the descriptions. This isn't all of what you should have. This is just a few things that I use on a day-to-day basis. We'll have some links in the description on some of the SMD tools that you got to pick up, that you need to have as a professional. So thanks for watching. I'm Allyn with Sonic Electronix, and we'll see you next time.